Hello everyone. I am exhausted. Stop the madness. It is insanity here. There's a lot of red on the screen. NYSE Einstein from the Florida New York Stock Exchange. I think it's April 5th. I don't even know. This has to have been one of the most volatile weeks in history. Up 500, down 500, up 700, down 1,000, rallying back 1,000 points and down 600 today. Is there any rhyme or reason to this stuff? I don't know. Money's being shifted around, no question about it. Did the Dow underperform the NASDAQ this week? Yes. Did we find that the cause of the initial cracking of the tectonic plates was basically the fragility and the attack on Amazon and the whole tech sector rolling over and coming to sell off, and we were basically trading with the movement of Amazon? In fact, yes, in fact it is true. But as the story builds, as the momentum builds, even though we were up 1,000 points over the last 2 days after earlier week sell-off, the narrative and the discussion seems to have changed and caught momentum. It's like a virus. It's got a mind of its own. This is all about right now. This is growing and morphing into a story that goes from a tariff story to a trade war with China story to an uncertainty and lack of trust of what's coming out of the White House, mixed a little with the economic effects that a market sell-off may cause, which is raising interest rates, sort of anemic unemployment numbers at this point. So the story is morphing into a lot of things. It started out as a tech sell-off. It built into a tariff war, a tariff problem and trade war. It swooped around the White House and Larry Kudlow and Navarro and Mnuchin and the president. It's hovering over the whole China problem. It's wondering whether we're actually going to go to war with China over tariffs, what effect it's going to have on the farmers. Does anyone really have a handle on the potential economic effects that this could have? 100 billion here, 100 billion there, affecting the Caterpillar tractors, the soybeans, the economy in general, Boeing and whatnot. So where does this story fall? Where does it shake itself out? Where does the cream rise? What does the milk look like? There's a lot to this story. What started out as a 16-month rally turned around in February with a slight bit of a sell-off, finding a bit of a base later on in February. March starting out, I don't know, like a lion, but not a really strong lion. Volatility over the Facebook problem, over the tech problem.
Have a good weekend,
You too, buddy. Bit of a sell-off there. Days of absolute intraday volatility that were massive. Trading off of headlines. Clarity out of Washington. Tariff wars. I mean, this story is morphing into a whole nother thing. It's where does the chafe shake out? What ends up being the focus of the market? We are seeing within this week 1,000-point moves over days and days and days. Up 1,000, down 1,000, up 1,000, down 1,000. 5 days in a row. Where does this lead us? It leads us to a point of is this market investable for the normal investor? Is it the big institutions and the hedgies shifting money around? What are causing these intraday volatility of thousands of points? Clarity, communication, trade wars, China, White House, all that stuff. Where does it shake itself out? Does it have effect on real economic data that's coming out? Next week we've got earnings coming out. Have the fundamentals changed and all that? So basically I'm giving you 4 minutes of a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns, and I'm throwing targets at you that we don't know how they're going to shake out. So it was a week of uncertainty, it was a week of volatility, it was a week of massive moves, a lot of news on the table, a lot of headlines on the table, a lot of ups and downs. Markets in turmoil? No question about it. Stop the madness. Next week will be very telling. I don't have much more to say to you except I'm exhausted. It was a crazy week. For a trader, it was cooperative. For an investor, it was probably a very unsettling week. So from the Einstein point of view, I think you should go home, have a smoke and a pancake, have a tulip and a blintz, and I love you all. I'll see you on Monday.